You just always got to be the star, huh? Yeah. You got to turn that air off. Way too loud. That's better. What's up, guys? My name is Will. This guy here is Enzo. Lotus is, I don't know, he's over there. This is Evolving Content, where I kind of dissect and discuss how I built my YouTube channel, That Enzo and Lotus. We are outside, obviously. It is a gorgeous day. I'm under the shade though, so I can be in a hoodie and still be okay. A little warm. I was planning to do this inside, and I was like, you know, why don't we just go out back? So I want to do this kind of as a quicker, like kind of almost like a one take type of a video. I mean, I will have to edit a little bit, but the channel hit like a super big milestone yesterday evening, and that is 3 million views. Enzo, 3 million. He's elated. So I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit, because the channel also hit another milestone about a week ago, or about a week ago or so, and that is 1 year. So the channel's 1 year old, and we hit 3 million views. We're sitting just shy of 24,500 subscribers right now. We should hit 25,000 next week. I have some other stats. There's gonna be a little bit of stats in this video just to kind of give you guys some context. So 300 million views, 24,469 subs as of like 10 minutes ago. 240,000 watch hours. That is the equivalent of 10,000 days, or just over 27 years of watch time. Now, what's interesting about these numbers, and we'll talk about it more, is how much of that has come in the last 90 days. So I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna title this, but basically it has to do with the last 18 months, and that's what the other milestone is that June represents. I kind of almost forgot about it. Like, I didn't forget about it, but like it just kind of like dawned on me, like, wow, we're actually at the 18-month mark. What do I mean by that? I just said the channel's a year old. Well, I mean my 18-month challenge. So not this past January, but last January, so January 2019, that was right around the time that I discovered Gary Vaynerchuk. Some of you may know him. Now, I had heard the name for actually a couple years prior to that, and for some reason I think in my mind I had him confused with somebody else, and I just was like, I'd heard his name, I'd heard good things, but I was like, I'll get to him eventually. Like, I was doing too many other things. I probably should have got to him sooner. I started consuming his content in early January of that year, maybe even, actually, I think it was it was December of that year. It was just at the end of December when I started listening to him. I don't know if he gave the idea for an 18-month challenge, or if he just said to set some sort of challenge. I don't remember exactly. I remember where I was. Like, I was driving in the FJ. I remember that part. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I should devote the next 18 months to YouTube. So for those of you who don't know, I have a business where I do other things that aren't related to YouTube. It is related to marketing, which, if you didn't really notice, YouTube is kind of marketing. So I made a commitment. I told my wife, I was like, you know, for the next 18 months, I really want to go hardcore with YouTube. 18 months is a long time, and I'm not going to say I was always perfect, but I was fairly consistent for 18 months. And I'm not saying I'm stopping now, mind you, but it did feel kind of like a weight had lifted a little bit when I hit that mark. You know, it was so many times I told people, like, I'm working, like social events, family events, just different things. This was also when I started getting up at 4 a.m., which I may have that in the title, I'm not sure. I've been getting up at, guys, can we just, Enzo, can we just a little bit? This is also when I started getting up at 4 a.m. So I actually started getting up at 4 a.m. that December. So it had been December 2018. It was either the end of November or the very first week of December 2018. I started getting up at 4 a.m. Now, I wasn't consistent with it. I wasn't every day. This started off as like, I remember the first few weeks I maybe did it like 2 or 3 times, and then I started kind of doing it all 5 days, like Monday through Friday. And then like kind of doing a little bit more, and when I decided to set sights on this 18-month challenge, I was like, you know, part of that is gonna be getting up at 4 a.m. like pretty much every day. And to this point now, 18 months later, I still get up at 4 a.m., actually 3:50 a.m. I get up that early, usually 6 times a week. I found that as long as I can sleep in a little bit 1 day a week, or more like one day every 7 to 10 days even, I do well. I can go farther. You know, I've gone like 2 weeks doing it in a row, but then I really like I start to really feel that sluggishness come in effect. Because while I have gotten on a habit of going to bed earlier, it's still not always perfect, but I always get up at 4 a.m., 3:50. Now, I could do an entire video of why it's so valuable to get up that early, but the simplest way to explain it is think about your life. Think about what you do. Think about what time you get up. Most people, most professionals who have a job, get up in the 5:30 to 6:30 to 7 a.m. maybe range, because most people have to be at work at like 8 or 9 a.m. But whatever it is, think about what time you're getting up and think about what time you're going to bed. Now, pay attention to that last like hour to 2 hours before you go to bed. Start paying attention to what you're doing. I know for us, a lot of times it was just kind of like watching TV and just kind of relaxing, you know, after a hard day. And there's nothing wrong with that, mind you. But I realized that I don't need like 2 hours of relaxing at the end of every day. Like 45 minutes, an hour, like that's plenty and stuff. And what I found is that the only thing I started really losing out on was TV. Is really what went away from me.
What are you talking about?
The last 18 months.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Because of Lotus?
No. This is from my other channel.
Oh.
How I just, back in January of 2019, I said for the next 18 months, I want to devote to YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, so much for one take. But let's see, where were we? So 18 months. Let's do a little bit of math here. That's 547 days. In that time, I did 322 videos. So that equates to a video every 1.6 days. So basically every day and a half, I uploaded a video for 18 straight months, or have been. Now see, you're stuck because you can't turn around. So a video every day and a half, essentially. It's been exhausting at times. It's been stressful at times, and it's been a lot of fun. And shoot, just realized the filter was still on. So it's been a lot of fun. What I will say is, I'm not suggesting that you need to make that many videos. But what I will say is, and I've said this before in videos, I learned so much during that time. What are you doing? I learned so much as far as editing, so much as far as filming, camera settings, just so many little minute things that would have taken me forever to learn. But because I was making so many videos so quickly, I was able to really focus on what I really needed to learn, basically. You know, I would make a video and realize that, oh, the audio's not great. And don't get me wrong, I still make tons of mistakes. I still had a video just a couple days ago I was editing where I screwed up the audio. But I've learned a lot. I know how to set up Premiere. I know how to set up my channels. I have the mic set up the way I want it, so that generally speaking, everything is easier. I've learned so much about what frame rates to use and what just different settings, that it's questions that I didn't know to ask until I saw them. And then it was like, oh, my footage is doing this. How can I make my footage not do this? You know, in my case, my footage was too shaky. And I thought it was some issue with the camera or with me or something. Turned out it was really just my frame rate was too slow. But so many little things like that. Now, the point of this video is not to tell you need to get up at 4 a.m. Probably wouldn't hurt. It's not to tell you to make a video every day, day and a half, although probably wouldn't hurt. The point of this video is to tell you that in the grand scheme of things, 18 months is still a really short time. I think people want their YouTube to grow up overnight. They want to upload a video and get 1 million views. I still don't have a video that has 1 million views. So my highest video is like 560,000, by the way. It takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of dedication, and it also takes a goal. Now, I didn't have a specific goal in the sense of I want X number of subscribers or X number of views or anything like that. But I did have a very specific goal in that I wanted to grow a successful YouTube channel. And the way to grow a successful YouTube channel was to post YouTube videos. Shocking. A lot of times people have goals, but really they're just more dreams. They're just, without a plan, without steps involved, it's just a dream. If you actually break it down and make steps, make plans, then you have goals. Then you can work towards them and you can work your way back. The other thing I want to bring up is, I mentioned 300 million views. I mentioned, 300 million views, just shy of 24,500 subs and 240,000 watch hours over the last, just over a year. In the last 90 days, 1.7 million views, 10,000 subs, 121,000 hours, almost 50%. Like, it's over 50%, but it's probably like 60 some percent. But my point is, that's all in the last 90 days. So I set forth to do this thing for 18 months. And yeah, there were moments where I saw growth and saw potential, certainly. Obviously, I pivoted. I started off with car content and I pivoted when the pup content started doing better. And I am going back to the car content. I'm not giving that up. I just realized that, hey, I'm getting some traction here. Let me pivot here. And the reason I knew that was because I was making so many videos. Had I just been making 1 or 2 car videos a week, I wouldn't have focused on making a pup video. But because I was forcing myself to make so many videos, I was basically like, wow, I need content. So I don't have any car stuff today. Let's do a pup thing just cuz. And out of that 18 months, 50% of my accomplishments, almost 40 some percent of my accomplishments probably, have come in the last 90 days, the last 3 months. And I suspect that 6 months from now, I'll probably have eclipsed all of this again. Honestly, that's just kind of the way YouTube is. It's the way a lot of things are. So many people give up just a little too soon. I've seen this a lot in my life, and I think if you think about it, you'll realize you've seen it too. But if you've ever worked out, or trained pups, or built a YouTube channel, whatever, built something, you start building it and there's almost no traction. Basically nobody cares, or there's no progress. Maybe you see a little bit here and there, and then maybe it goes back and then forth, and you're kind of but you're doing the math in your head and you're like, well, at this rate of growth, it's going to take me 97 years to get anything even remotely reasonable built. But what you find is that, you'll have these moments where it's gradual, and then you'll finally hit a break point where you'll step up. I've seen that in weightlifting. I've seen that in running. I used to run a lot in high school and college, not competitively. I used to do it just to be in shape. And I remember anytime I would start over, go back to getting in shape, my goal was always to run miles under 6 minutes. And I would go run miles every day, and it would be 8 minutes, 7.5, 7.5, 7:10, 6:50, 6:40, 7:10, 6:40. And then days and days and days of this, weeks sometimes, and then suddenly 6 minutes and 5 seconds, and then 5 minutes, 55 seconds, and 5 minutes, 50 seconds. And I would just start to see all this huge incremental jumps. I've seen the same thing with the pups with training them, where I train them and I train them and I train them. And it's well, we're not getting anywhere. We're not gaining anywhere. And then suddenly one day it's it clicks and it's okay, they take a huge jump forward. And I've seen it with the YouTube channels. So make a goal, make a medium, not a short term in the sense of days or weeks or months, but a long term. Honestly, 18 months is not a long term, to be completely honest. But it was something that was long, but not 5 years. 5 years is, I think that's too long for most goals. I think you get lost in the minutia if you have a goal that long. 18 months was long enough to go, but not too long. And maybe that'll work for you. Maybe something else will. I don't know, but it can't be 3 months. It can't be 6 months. It can't be a year. And again, it wasn't that I was going to be successful. I don't consider myself successful. What I do consider myself is seeing the potential. I said that I would go hard for 18 months and see if I could find the potential. And I found it. So I'm going to keep going hard. If I was at 18 months right now and hadn't seen the potential, this channel wouldn't even exist. I wouldn't be making this video. I'd be pivoting. I'd be doing something else. So make a goal, make a plan to get there, stick with it, and be patient, you know. I just heard the wife pull up, so they're gonna get loud. Appreciate you guys as always. Check out the pup channel, That Enzo and Lotus, if you want to. My car channel is just my name, Will Sanders. This is evolving content. Appreciate you guys as always. Comment with any questions, and I will see you next week.